Muchas gracias, afición. Este es para vosotros.
Hey. Oh shit. Let me bring it right here. I did not get my mic ready. Hello, Isaac. Welcome in. Hello everyone. Hello. Woo! I'm not sure if you guys saw my Discord message, but yeah, I was busy. Doing my laundry, as you all know. Which is why I'm a little bit late. I promised that I would come on at 2 p.m. Chores are indeed a bitch, but it's part of adulting, you know. That's why they always say more money, more problems, right? It's not without a reason. It is not without a reason, guys. It's always because of having more things in life, like these things and this thing. It's usually the reason why we have to do the things we do as adults, right? Yeah, exactly. I mean, not saying that you guys don't. I'm not saying that you guys don't. I mean, if you are an adult and if you and especially if you own your own place and have your own house, you guys know the pains and the chores, you know, that you have to do in order to maintain a household like that, and also maintain a certain quality of life, as they say. Hey, Mr. SDA, welcome. Oh, it's actually not SDA. I should call it SJ. Yes. Hello, SJ. I'm not used to seeing an early Toh. I'm used to seeing Degen Toh. yeah. It's a little bit different today. It's a noon edition of Build Chilling, and welcome one and all to today's I won't say a special edition. It's just like I have stuff to do at night. That's why I'm doing the afternoon version of this stream. Early Toh catches the worm. I was absolutely not early today. I think I woke up around... Okay, so I know you all say I degen and stuff like that, right? I had a pretty late night yesterday because I was grinding my Zelda Breath of the Wild. That game is so addictive, guys, I swear. Like, the moment you hop onto it, right, it is just... You just want to clear as many missions and as many temples, as much of the game as you can, because the game, there's so much to cover inside the game. Yeah. You don't stop until your battery dies. Thankfully, my Switch is still mostly connected. Like, because I have a video capture card, I usually just play it on my monitor screen while it's hooked up to the power. So no issues with regards to that. That's why I can literally go all night long with the game. I think I only stopped at around like what 2:30 AM. Don't tell my wife. Yeah. So I honestly felt that I played this game like a few years too late, you know. I wish I had gotten a hold of it earlier when it first came out in 2017, if I'm not wrong. It was Game of the Year, right, in 2017. Yeah, I felt that I was just a few years too late in experiencing how great of a game this is. I mean, it's a Game of the Year for a reason, right? So, I'm pretty happy with my experience with it so far. And I think deservedly so. It is the Game of the Year, and I'm not sure if Tears of the Kingdom will be Game of the Year this year, but it is definitely a very strong contender because crap, there's a shit ton of games that are coming out, you know, this year in of itself. So it's gonna be a challenge. It's gonna be a bit of an uphill battle for Tears of the Kingdom to reign in that sense, or to reign supreme as the best game of the year. Yeah. You didn't get the driver vocation. Ooh. Well. What vocation do you get in N, SJ? Also, congrats again on completing your BMT. I have to shout a few people out, by the way. We have Mr. Dexifer, also known as my mod, who streams as well. He's been... I think Dexifer doesn't get enough credit from me for being so like active on my stream as a moderator and wherever he can, right? So thank you so much for the great help. Dex indeed the wingman, and winging it also in Apex Legends. Why is this little nightmares when it's it's Apex. Did you forget to change the title? Look at him go, man! Holy shit! Yeah, you're like if you need help in actually if you need anyone to carry you in these games like Apex, Diablo, Remnant, right? That's what he's been going at. You should hit him up because yeah, he grinds a lot. Like you think I grind a lot, man? I ain't nothing. I'm nothing compared to how some of you grind at games. You got Infocom? Oh well, I think Infocom's still not too bad, right? I guess it's a relevant vocation. I mean, everything now is digitalizing, right? Digitizing itself. I don't know what's the proper term. Digitalizing, right? It's the digital nation now. So I think you are going into a very relevant vocation, and it'll do you good, especially coming out from wherever you are. You know, I think you will be like it's for me when I was in the when I was in NS, right, I was very grateful that I got the medic vocation, which is something that my parents, or rather not my parents, but my dad did not want, but my mom was really happy when I got the medic vocation. And it turned out to be the best, like, vocation ever. Not because it is slack or what, alright? I must tell you guys that medic vocation is not slack at all, okay? It's not slack at all. It's very intense. It can get very intense. And the only person that was really happy for me was my mom. Because she works in the medical line. Yeah. You played last year's game of the year. Hey, Poka Lemon Tea. Poka, welcome in. It's good to see you here as well. Sorry, there's a lot of people in here that I need to shout out to. But I need to turn that shit off, man. But SJ
acknowledge me.
is a streamer as well. Currently serving the nation. You're serving the nation as well, right? Like, I'm not wrong. There's a lot of people in my streams because I have students, right? They have graduated from, you know, school already and stuff like that, and they are now currently serving NS. People like, you know, Bane, HG Yukari, they're all in NS right now. And you know, Bane, whenever he comes in here, he just talks about his DMP life and stuff. But you can go and show some love to Mr. SJ playing that Overwatch as well. I'm glad you know that medic vocation is very intense. Because okay, anything that deals with life and death is always gonna have complications. It's always gonna be very, very complex as well. So shout outs to all the healthcare workers out there. You know, whether you're in the army as a healthcare worker or you're working as a nurse, a doctor, a surgeon, whichever you are, you have my utmost appreciation and respect. I spawn only during Gunpla streams of it's all good. It's all good, Mr. Poka. But I hope you've been well. Lowell as well. I hope you've been good. We are doing a very, like I said, it's a very rare afternoon stream, and I actually want to do more afternoon streams with you guys, but usually in the daytime, right, I hang out with my wife, I spend time with my wife, I go out with friends and stuff like that, which is why usually I only spawn, like you use the word spawn, right, Poka Lemon Tea, I usually only spawn at night. So, thank you all nonetheless for joining me on this very nice and wet Saturday afternoon. I would like to say nice and chilly. It's actually not very chilly at the moment. It's still freaking humid where I am. Actually, okay, it's quite chilly. I just don't have my windows completely opened up. Maybe I should. Let me like get some like sun, not sunlight, but air in. I think sometimes having a mosquito netting complicates things because it disrupts the airflow. You know. Nothing chill about this weather. No, I mean, it's a nice weather, chill at home, I guess, right? For me, I mean, the temptation to just chill in bed and you know, like, you know, do my own thing, it is so tempting. But you know what? I have to complete this Gunpla by today. We are almost at the end of completing this Gunpla, so I think, in fact, we're just connecting the parts today and building the shield. I'll just show you guys. Yeah. We actually nearing the completion, so I don't think this is gonna be a very long stream. We are. I may play a little Breath of the Wild if time permits, but I have to head out around 5. Like I have to probably end stream around 5:15 like that in order to go out. I have a dinner appointment together with my wife at a restaurant. As you guys know, my wife and I are not my wife and I. My wife in particular is a TikTok influencer. There we go. So we do these tastings ever so often. There we go. Right. So tonight is one of those nights. In fact, she tries to put most of the tastings and the food review stuff at evening time, over the weekends, which is why, again, this is why I'm doing it on the afternoon. But yeah, I also literally just came out of, you know, doing the laundry. I was doing the laundry and I was ironing. So in case you guys are wondering why it took so long for me to come on to stream, when I promised you guys I'll be on at 2 p.m. So laundry, ironing, and then I had to have lunch. I literally just like wolfed down a hot dog just before actually not a hot dog, like a bratwurst hot dog before I came on to stream. So I try my best. Guys, I try my best. So I appreciate everyone who hopped on in together. It's a lot of blood and gore indeed for being a medic. Necotactus, that is a what a name that is. Necotactus. What's the haps with you? First time chatter. Hey, welcome in, man. Welcome to the chat. I can't say toasties just yet. Welcome to the toasties and chat. How is your day doing today? And where are you from? Tell us a little bit more about yourself as we get ready to finish up actually this gunpla. As you guys can see, we are at the finishing stages. We literally just have to put the shield, the armaments together, and we are home free. And then we can move on to the next one. The next backlog among a shit ton of backlogs that I have yet to clear. Are you not in charge of any SPDs? I am in charge of the SP Corrupted Scarf. Interesting, funny you should mention. I have been, which is what I've been busy with actually. I'm in charge of the Year 2 SP tree. Yeah. Also, hello. How are you doing, man? Corrupted Scarf. It's good to see you back here again. A little birdie recently told me. Oh wow, what's going on? A little birdie. Sorry about that. I think it's one of my shortcuts malfunctioning. A little birdie told me that you were very excited for me to join NYP when there was rumors and news going about that I would be joining. That you're one of the people that was quite excited. But check out Corrupted Scarf playing that Phasmo. Was this just recently only? Panic and not the gay time.
What the heck?
Oh, was that the last game you did? Oh, jeez. What was that? That was loud. No. Hey, you gotta tell your friends to chill a bit. Neko, I'm from Singapore but in Japan for a month and love Gunpla. Oh shit, you're in Japan for a month? You're in Japan for a month? You just had to bring that up. You're in Japan for a month. I envy you. I envy you. I'm stuck here in hot and humid Singapore and there you are in Japan, but it's so cool. Holy shit, I want to go to Japan. I really, really want to go to Japan. Oh my goodness. It's funny you should bring that up. This was one of your first ever games of Phasmo. I can tell. I can tell. But yeah, I hope you're nice. It's a good sleepy weather. Hey, actually, you don't have anything to do right now, right? Anything left on your plate, Corrupted Scarf? Because you're done with IWP, right? And you're just waiting for internship or FYP, whichever it may be, right? So, hey man, you should use all the time you need to go and sleep. But Neko, holy crap, you're in Japan for a month! Wow! Hey wait, which part of Japan, may I ask? Tokyo? Osaka? Kyoto? Don't want an assistant. No, I'm not asking for an assistant. Why would I need an assistant? Maybe, okay, you know what could I could use a big assist with? my schedule planning. Like, I could really use, or in fact I could use someone that actually can make short form content for my stream. That would be actually really cool. If someone could help me with that. But it's all good, it's all good. Like I said, I've been attempting to put out some short form content, and maybe I'll do some short form content for my Gunpla, like a speed build video or something like that, you know, in order to make something out of it. Truth be told, as of late, right, a lot of the Gunplas that I've built, okay, other than Wing Gundam, which I built previously, right, have not been that great, right? Banshee was a bit of an L, right? As was the Unicorn Gundam, which I did not build on stream, but you guys have seen how bad that build is, right? Now in Kyoto, next week down to Osaka, and then back to SG, nice! Oh, that is, by the way, I should mention, Neko, that is, by the way, the same route that I took when I was holidaying in Japan with my ex-girlfriend, aka now my wife, just before I proposed to her. So I actually proposed to my wife in Kyoto, and then we went down to Osaka. So that was back in 2019 before COVID hit. So that is so you're going down like how should I say, top to bottom, right? Is it top to bottom, or is it down to up? Yeah, I can't remember what's the route already, but Kyoto is I love Kyoto because it's not very urban. It's a little bit rural because you got like the forest, the bamboo forest. You got light festivals and stuff. It's still a very traditional looking town, which is what I like, right? So I really love Kyoto. I mean, I love Osaka as well. The food there is I miss that place, and I miss USJ as well. Harry Potter, man, and the butterbeer over at USJ, man. Yeah, okay, I should stop recounting these experiences. Yeah. And I really do want to go to Japan, by the way, guys. I know Tokyo Game Show is happening like next month. My wife has no interest in going Tokyo Game Show, that's the thing. But I am planning I'm thinking whether or not I should like plan to go there or go there on my own. Because honestly, I've never traveled out on my own before. I usually go with friends because everything is better with friends, right? So it's down to up, then back down. Yes. Okay, so very cool. But it's good to see you, Neko. It's very interesting also that you are watching my stream while you're traveling, so appreciate it. Please enjoy your stay in Japan. I will live vicariously through you, Neko. Man, I also want to go. My first trip was not a great experience because of certain people. Did you go like what with your class or something? Is that the reason why you're saying the experience wasn't that was a bit subpar, as they say? Okay, I tell you, going with the right people makes a world of a difference, because I have traveled with a group of friends that I was not very familiar with, and it was such a downer. It was really such a downer. Well, not friends, a group of colleagues who I just got to know right off the bat. I traveled together with them once, and not a great experience. You should only travel with people that you are familiar with, and it was a huge lesson for me to understand that, yeah, it's either you find really good friends to go with you, or you just travel on your own. No, sometimes you go with friends, they say can be a bit burden, because the friend want to do one thing, you want to do something else, you know. You love toys, the friend doesn't love toys and stuff, and then yeah, you know, the whole plan just goes to shit lah, you know, because you all can't agree on where to go and what to do. It's the weekends, just lepak a bit. I got a case full of toys. Oh, wait. Hold up. What did you get? Could you share with us your stash? Also, since you're new here, I'd just like to let you know that we have a Discord. Exclamation point Discord. If you want, you can hop on in. We talk a lot about Gunpla in there as well. We have people posting about Gunpla and stuff, so it's all nice and Gucci down. Oh, why is the command not firing off? Wait. Did I spell it wrongly? Discord. Oh shit. Wait, is Stream Elements down? Well, I went with my went with family friends with a child that kept oh no, that's the worst, right? Children that, well, that is the thing that, you know, really can make or break a holiday, right? Like, people that are ungrateful. The fact that you can travel is really so good, you know. I think kids sometimes don't know, you know, what they have these days, right? The fact that you can travel from one place to another and have the ability and the finances to travel, you know, I think people don't appreciate that well enough. Najwan, welcome in. Thanks for the Hail Hydrate. Well, what did you get indeed? Why is my Discord? Wait, can somebody help me check is Stream Elements working? Stream Elements is not working, is it? Let me pop in. Oh, is my streamer bot not on? My streamer bot is on, or is it not connected? Oh, that is so weird. Dexifer, you can get it to work, but I cannot. Wow. The preference, oh my goodness, the savagery of Stream Elements, man. Why Stream Elements? Why do you not listen to me? Yeah, showing favoritism. What the shit? What is going on? Hey, what is this? Obey your master, Stream Elements. Obey. Najwan, how's your Saturday, man? I hope it's going well. Let me try again. Maybe maybe Stream Elements is also feeling a little bit of the chill, the sleepy weather. Hey, what the heck, man? Alright, looks like Dexifer, I have to 我要靠你了. That's my Discord, so yeah, pop in and show some love. Yeah, it works fine for you, apparently. Why is it not firing off for me, bro? Weird. Okay, so you got SH Figure Arts, Kamen Riders, 3 Kamen Riders for SH. Ooh, shit. You know, it's funny you should mention I got Kamen Rider, a few SH Kamen Riders as well. Robot Spirits Ariel. Okay. Gokaiger and Schwarze and Sailor Moon. Oh, you bought a lot of SH Figure Arts, I noticed, and 1 Gunpla kit. Wait, Schwarze is HG, right? It's currently an HG kit at the moment. I really hope they come up with like a FM version or something of it. Okay, actually, honestly, I don't mind like the I don't mind the HG version as well. Like, I'm building a HG Phenex right now, so yeah, I mean, it definitely will work. It definitely is something that, you know, it's worth looking into. My room got some Black Series Tower. Oh my god, SH figure. Wait, which version of Ultraman? Like the OG Ultraman or the Shin Ultraman? My room got no more space, huh? I feel you. I mean, like, bro, have you seen my room? Like, have you seen my room? And this is not everything, by the way. It's not meant as a flex, but like, I'm just trying to say I completely understand where you're coming from. Because been there, done that. Yeah. Hey, by the way, I should set this as the new preset. Wait, hold on now, guys. Okay. Anyway. Enough of that. You guys came here to see some gunplay. Yes, indeed. But yeah, my that's kind of like the shelf situation at the moment. All right, back to our regular schedule program. Oh, you got Ultraman Zeto. Right. Ultraman Zeto. I thought you would get like the new Ultraman, which is the Shin Ultraman or the Netflix series Ultraman, right? I think the designs for the next Netflix series Ultraman is really good. Not gonna lie. It was from Tamashi Nation store. Your room is cleaner than mine. I live with a woman. I live with a wife, you know, who is very particular about cleanliness. So it's either I make sure it's tidy or it's out. You know, I wish I could have what you have, Neko, but the side of my room here is filled with my PC like paraphernalia, my peripherals, right, for my PC peripherals, and then I have a cupboard here that's full of my Backlog kits. The back is the display case. I have a chair here, a bench here for my, you know, for my what you call it, my for my bags and stuff. And then here is another set of boxes for my Backlog. So yeah, I wish I had really more space. I've kind of maxed out everything in that sense. But yeah, ooh, shit. Okay, wait. Oh, this is so hard to slot in. That's the thing with HG kits. You kind of can't, like, close some of the parts off. But yeah, so cool that you have 3 walls full of, like... I mean, again, I envy you that you have 3 walls full of toys, but... and I wish I could have that. Maybe one day when I have a house that's big enough, I can use that. In fact, now I'm also starting to think whether or not, like, do I have enough space for every single one of my toys once I put it out for display? This is not everything. What you saw just now is not everything just yet, right? Ultraman Blazer has been pretty good so far. Oh yeah, wait, there's a new Ultraman now, right? That's going on. The SH Blazer is a nice design. I wish I got more space. My toy Scarlet Witch from Wano just came into SG. Are you a toy collector by any chance, Neko? Then we should link up, man, because holy crap. I want to show people that, you know, it's actually possible to not maintain such a lifestyle, but it's good to have a it's possible to still, you know, to maintain such a hobby, I would say. Given the, you know, the limited room space that we have here in Singapore. Yeah, what does Ultraman Blazer look like? It's the new Ultraman series, is it? Ultraman Blazer. What does he look like? Oh, damn. Oh, it's asymmetrical. Okay, he has some asymmetrical design. Very nice, very nice. Oh, damn. Okay, he looks pretty cool. He looks pretty cool, all things considered. Damn. All right. Wow. Oh, hey, that's sick. That's sick. Hey, I've not seen a asymmetrical Ultraman design for quite some time. Not gonna lie. This could probably be one of the better designs I've seen so far. But he looks like he has a little bit of a like a bat. It's like the Two-Face, right, of Ultraman. Sadly, I don't have a picture of my updated room, but I can send it when I'm back. Oh yeah, sure. Pop in the Discord, man. Pop in the Discord. Yeah, we have a bunch of toy collectors there as well. Gunpla collectors. I mean, we should just shoot the breeze whenever we can and post up pictures to display our Gunpla collection. I've only ever watched the Netflix Ultraman anime. I think it's pretty decent as a newbie. Okay, my only complaint. Okay, I love the suits in the Oh, that's sick. Damn. Wow. Okay, whoa, what the shit was that? Is that his finishing move? What the fudge? Did you guys see that? Like, he literally, like, broke his spear in two. Whatever phase shift spear that is, and then he just literally just... Wow, the suit actor. Bravo, man. Whoever the suit actor is, they must have got a pretty darn good and pretty darn flexible suit actor. You know, dude, look at that shit. Oh my god, he arches all the way back. Like, the freaking Exorcist or something. Holy shit. Okay, well, I'm glad you guys told me about Blazar. Actually, I know that there's this new Ultraman series called Blazar. But color me impressed, man. I might actually check it out now. He looks like he's got a little bit of a bad side to him, isn't it, guys? I don't know if any of you have watched Blazar. For those of you who have watched Blazar, could probably tell me more. Okay, so I love the designs, or rather, the suit designs in the Netflix, Ultraman series. Netflix Ultraman series, by the way, is based off the Ultraman manga, right? Which is an alternate universe of Ultraman, in which after Ultraman left Earth, he never came back, and humans are pretty much left to fend for themselves against the alien invasions. So, I love the suit designs in the manga and the Netflix series. They are both okay. The Netflix anime series, right? The suit designs are slightly different, mainly because they need to optimize it for animation. But the designs are still great. However, I can't get past the fact that this Ultraman in the Netflix series does not grow, to like 10 times the size of a human or the size of a building, which is a bit jarring because Ultraman generally is represented by the fact that he can grow, right? Once he transforms or he henshins, whatever you call it, right? So it's a little bit jarring to see that Ultraman is kind of reduced to a role of sort of like a mini vigilante. But I know at the end, the final episode and stuff like that, I think he did grow, right? He did enlarge in size and stuff. You should watch it. Yeah. I'll find the time to watch it. Again, I've been out of the tokusatsu scene, so to speak, for quite some time already. So I have not had a chance to watch a whole lot of like tokusatsu live action anime anymore. Just because I'm just really busy with life and stuff. But yeah, okay, I am very impressed by how that Ultraman is designed. I always tell my students as a lecturer, right, when you are designing things, right, anything that is what makes things unique, right, is anything that has asymmetry. So I love designs that are asymmetrical because, let's face it, in life, right, every single design, because of function, right, it has to be symmetrical, right? Your phone is symmetrical, your cups are sort of symmetrical unless you flip it this way, character designs are mostly symmetrical. So how can you set yourself apart? Is by designing something that's asymmetrical. So I love asymmetrical designs, and that's what I teach my students in class as well. So I'm a sucker for asymmetrical designs, and yeah, I'm very sold on this Ultraman Blazar design itself for sure. Hexman, welcome in. Adam Hex over there on Kick. How is your Saturday going? Salamat. Shit, I don't know how to say it. Afternoon in Malay. But salamat to you either way. I hope your Saturday is coming along just fine. We are in the middle of building Gunpla as we always do on weekends. Selamat tengah hari, yes. Okay. Thanks for actually, yeah. Now I remember. Hey, thanks for reminding me how to actually pronounce it. Selamat tengah hari, right? That's the full thing. I don't know if my room is now more cluttered. Thanks for joining the Discord. It's now more cluttered. Okay, your room can be cluttered, but it can be well arranged nicely, kind of like mine, right? So it's actually not say that I don't have a lot of toys. I do have a lot. It's just the way I arrange it is very well spaced out, right? So I just make sure that it's not, I just don't throw things anyhow, like put them anywhere I want, or I have a method to the madness, as they call it, right? I mean, I can show you again like how it looks, since I kind of have this going on. I mean, you're gonna be seeing double, but yeah, you can tell there's actually a lot of stuff, but it's just very well spaced out lah. And in fact, this is not everything just yet. I wish it was, but it's not everything just yet. I actually am taking my very own sweet time to put some of the stuff out, so to speak. Yeah, because I just simply don't have time to unpack everything. And by the way, I just shifted into this place of mine like just back in September of last year, and I still haven't unpacked everything, which is insane, right? You arrange by series such as Star Wars, Marvel, and Gunpla, and some anime. Okay, but like I have shelves where I am, you know. Yeah, I also split them into like mecha. I mean, just now as you saw, I split into mecha. What was it? Mecha. American toys, right? American toy series such as Funko Pop, my Batman toys, and then below is like SH Figuarts. Yeah. You woke up too early. I feel. What do you mean? Okay, define early, Hexman. Because early for me is like what, 8 AM? For me is and then early, like super early is like 6. So technically I woke up late today. I woke up like, okay, so I was saying I woke up at 10:30, right? And then I went back to bed. I woke up, washed up, and then I went back to bed. You know, and then I woke up again at like what, 11. Which is probably the reason why, you know, I started my housework so late, you know. Funny enough. Hey, is that Goldar from Power Rangers? No, Brez, welcome in. It's not Goldar from Power Rangers, it's a Gundam. It's Gundam Phenex from Unicorn Gundam. And it's a plastic model kit, which I am slowly putting together. Yes. Welcome into the stream, by the way. The Brez. I think I think you popped on in from someone else's stream previously, right? I can't remember for the life of me. What is it? You're trying out slot experiments with different currencies. Damn. Okay, what currencies are you looking at? Like what? Ringgit, SGD, USD, AUD. There's a Warhammer 40k that's kinda Gundam. I think anything that's Space Marines kinda looks like a Gundam, I guess. In fact, the Space Marines kinda remind me of the Zaku designs from Gundam. Space Marines. But yes, do tell. Yeah, I mean, it's all about putting things in a very nice manner, and again, I'm being forced to do it because I have a wife that is very particular about, you know, how things are arranged and stuff. Yeah, and she always makes sure, like, even though it's my room, I always tell her like, yeah, like, just like leave me be, right? It's my room, you know, like, but say, yeah, but your room is part of the house, you know, so you gotta adhere to some of the rules, right? At least make it neat lah, you know. So, and anyway, I take pride in my toys as well. So I think the owners also does fall on me to make sure that I display it in a nice fashion. By the way, guys, you can pop in your favorite songs onto the stream because song requests are on. Unfortunately, this is only available for those of you who are watching on Twitch. I really wish Kick had an integration in which, you know, you could do song requests and stuff. I know it's in the works now, but I hope they come up with it sooner than later. They're like fish goats. Fish goats? What is the name of the unit, so to speak? Will I get Armored Core 6? Heck yeah! Okay, it's not gonna... Okay, I think I mentioned this in my previous stream. It will not be a day one purchase for me. I know some people have pre-ordered it, but I kind of got burned with a day one purchase of Jedi Survivor. I think some of you know that my, you know, the issues that I've had with Jedi Survivor. Hella problematic to play that damn thing on like freaking PC and stuff. So it's not a day one purchase for me, but sometime down the road, I'm gonna wait for the reviews. I mean, most reviewers who have early access, hands-on access to it already have kinda said that it's really, really good. But again, not gonna be a day one purchase for me. I'm going to wait and see. I'm the kind of that I want to wait and see lah. So, because anyway, there are so many other games that I want to get my hands on. Spider-Man. Was it Spider-Man? Tekken 8 coming out. Something that you guys don't know, I am a Tekken fan. I'm a fan of Tekken. Not a huge fan. I won't say I'm a huge fan. I would say I'm more of a Katsuhira Harada-san. I just like to call him Harada-san. Yeah. I'm just a huge fan of Harada-san, who's the director and the guy that made Tekken and brought Tekken to where it is. So that's why I'm planning to get Tekken 8 as well. But yes, I want to get AC6 there. Thought it was out. Turned out it was just 3 weeks. Yeah, it's funny you should mention it's only 3 weeks away, guys. AC6. So get your wallet ready if you wanna blow some money on supposedly a really great mecha game that's coming out. I did hear from some people that it's got a lot of the fingerprints of FromSoft on it, which means it's a little bit Soulsborne, and a lot of people kinda don't like that. It's a little bit Soulsborne. But from the early gameplay that I've seen, it looks promising. It definitely looks promising. And it retains a lot of the elements of the original AC games, right? So I'm not too worried. I think it's gonna potentially be really, really good. Again, I can't comment too much because again I don't have early access or early hands-on to it. I don't play a whole lot of FromSoft games, mainly because they are Soulsborne, and I'm quite averse to playing Soulsborne games because they stress the heck out of me when I play it, which is why you don't see me playing a lot of it on stream. And same reason why you don't see me playing like horror games on stream, because it's just way too stressful playing them. They need to look into every possible venue to reduce the casino's house edge. Every possible venue to okay, I'm not gonna pretend I understand that, but cool. Need to look into every possible venue to reduce the casino's house edge. Wait, you're setting up a casino, is it? Is that what you're doing? I'm sorry, I don't really know like the terms of the gambling stuff. Again, I'm not someone that I know a lot of you that come from like Adam's stream previously. Adam has been a huge help to the stream. He dropped like 30 subs and stuff like that. He's still our top gift subber of all time on the stream. But he's a Gamba streamer. I personally don't endorse gambling for both personal and spiritual and religious reasons and stuff. But can't deny the fact that Adam is doing so great at not Adam Hex, but referring to the Adam the streamer. Adam possibly as well, Adam Hex as well. But yeah, he's been great to stream, and I'll always be grateful for him for that. I just personally, on a personal level, for me, I don't endorse gambling. I just feel that if not handled correctly, it destroys lives. But yeah, good for you, Hexman. The AC6 story trailer gave me goosebumps. Kind of got the vibe of Gundam. It does have a Gundam Thunderbolt vibe to it, especially with the whole pilot being being rebuilt and stuff like that. Yeah, so I do appreciate that the little nuances they've shown so far. Like you are a pilot that's just coming out of a coma or some stuff like that, or you have there's a number attached to you and stuff like that. So yeah, I like that. I like it. It does give me chills, and not only the fact that the early trailers, the early teasers, have also kind of showed that yeah, they are like they're going in a very, very different direction. As opposed to the previous editions of Armored Core. By the way, this is the first Armored Core game coming out in what? 9 years? So you can tell the vibe is very, very different. It's a lot more darker. I mean, freaking FromSoft, right? Because of their affiliation with Soulsborne games. They had to put a spin to it. A darker spin to it. Trollen, welcome in. Can we give a shout out to Trollen? My man. It was so good to see you, by the way, at what was that event? The LFG event last Sunday. And yes, I am building a HG Phenex Gundam. If you love Osu, and if you love Gods Unchained, do give my man Trollen a follow. Not only does he play rhythm games, he plays he does the pro-yo. He does the pro-yo stuff. Because I saw you playing with the pro-yo, right, on deleting my clips now. Why? Why are you deleting your clips? This is great. This is better than what I can achieve. I suck at rhythm games, you know. Oh, guys, if you want to load up like your favorite songs and stuff, I know I don't have it in the title itself, but it's !SR followed by the YouTube link to the song you want to hear. So, yeah. Everyone from DJ Jeffy Jeff stream, welcome in. So thank you so much for the rate of 7,000. My name is TohVahKiin.
This one,
lecturer by day, streamer by night. And guys, if you have not given Jeff a follow yet, what the heck are you doing? He's an amazing DJ and he plays lots of Euro Truck Simulator.
Hello, what the hell?
What is that? What's going on here? Looks like someone's taking driving lessons. How was your stream, DJ Jeffy? Also, it was great to see you at the event last Sunday as well. How are you, my man? How is your Saturday? How is the week without an LFG event, right? I hope your stream went well, and everyone, welcome in again. If you guys didn't hear, my name is TohVahKiin, lecturer by day, streamer by night. I know it's not night, and I'm still streaming, but it's a special edition of Build Chilling, alright? Hello, Zendere. Hello, my mouse is all the way here. Hello, Zendere. Hello, Juliana. Hello, Desicus. Hey, there's a Decifer and now there's a Desicus here. And Frozen Gaming SG. Thank you so much for popping on in. Yeah, it's a special noon edition. You don't usually see me building Gunpla in the noon, right? But I usually build Gunpla on weekends when I'm not playing games and stuff. So I play mostly RPG games, but on weekends I usually reserve it for building Gunpla. So that's what we're doing, and we're in the midst of completing HG Phenex, which is a really nice Gundam. Not just any HG Phenex, is the Kari Gold edition, as some people like to call it. This is the Gundam Front Tokyo, which is a special edition version of this Gunpla. Hey brother, stream is good. Did the unboxing of the Backbone controller. How are you? How's the review of the Backbone so far? Have you utilized it just yet? Also, like how's your experience with it so far? Or you literally just like unboxed it and it looks like. Myself again, but it's all good. Let me shout out the Prima Ice Tea first and foremost. How was your stream? I did try a bit and it is good. Prima Ice Tea builds Gunpla as well. So any of you here are fans of Gunpla, do check him out too. Good stream, good stream. Were you building? Oh, you're playing SD Gundam. Nice. Was it the turn-based SD Gundam? Arctic Gazer. Hello. You guys came in just as DJ Jeffy Jeff G, DJ Jeffy G rated. He's another good friend of the stream. So it's a double raid. Welcome in, double raiders again. Name is TohVahKiin, lecturer by day, streamer by night. Some of you already know that, others not so much. But yes, I'm in the middle of building a Phenex Gundam right now, and when I'm not building Gunpla, you'll catch me playing RPGs most of the time, so welcome in. Oh man, I just had to say so much of that with the double rate coming in and stuff. But I appreciate all the rates of 7,000, 5,000, every 1,000 counts, you know. My day is good. I'm almost completed. I'm almost done with my HG Phenex Gunpla down here. So you guys came in just at the right time. I'm about to finish this off. I mean, finish building it. That is. So it's I don't usually build Gunpla in the noon. And yes, I did mention that I'm a streamer by night, lecturer by day, streamer by night. But again, today's a noon edition of build chilling, and yes, I usually build Gunplas mostly on the weekends. But weekdays you will catch me playing RPG games and stuff. So it's so nice for you guys to pop on it. Oh, by the way, this is for you Raiders, right? I have to do this because you guys have been so amazing. You guys have been so nice to pop in with the raid. I have to do this for all you wonderful folk. I have a song for you, for Raiders from DJ Jeffy's stream. This is your song. There we go. I hope you like that. Ramitri, welcome in as well. Ramitri VT. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. Thank you also for all the follows. Were there any follows from this? Sorry. I don't know if I got any follows because shit, man. My freaking like follow my stream elements may not be working working correctly today. It's been a little bit on it's like taking a break or something like that, you know. But thank you for the follow, Ramitri. Yeah, Stream Elements has been it's not listening to me today for some reason. Yeah. And for those of you from Primer Ice Tea stream, this is for you. Hey shit. Okay, my mouse is like all the way at one corner, so let's go! Alright, that's all for all you Raiders. Oh yeah. How many of you are Zelda fans here? Because we are in the middle of doing our Zelda Breath of the Wild run on weekdays. So I hope you guys, if you guys like that game, do consider hopping on in when I do play that game. But if not, you guys are more than welcome to hang around. Stream Elements is I think it's the weather lah. Yeah, it's been throwing tantrums as of late. Especially today. Like it's listening to my mods for some reason, but it's just not listening to me. Like if I want to throw out my Discord link, right? Like if I want to throw out my Discord link, like freaking doesn't respond. But if Dexifer throws out the Discord link, my mod can one of my mods throw out the Discord link? Like see, this is what I mean. Why? Like, I don't know what the heck's going on, man. Like, shit, man. And then, yeah, freaking, like, Twitch ads and shit. By the way, guys, I am also streaming all the way over on Punch as well. Exclamation point Punch. If you don't like the ads and stuff, I am available there as well if you have an account. You can consider going there and dropping me a follow. You can watch it ad-free and more importantly, free of interruption, so you can watch me finish off this very beautiful build that we have over here. Anyway, thank you so much for the raids again, Primer and DJ Jeffy. Guys, if you have to run on off to do your stuff, I completely understand because I'm sure you had a long stream for both of you, right? Whichever game or stuff that you were playing. Thank you so much for bringing your amazing community here. You are always more than welcome here. Oh my shit! What the fuck? Oh, Rami Tree, thank you so much for the $5. Oh damn. Ah shit, I didn't know I had that on still. Wait, is that in my like profile description? Oh my god. Fudge. Yeah, that definitely brought some people out of the look. Newbie Gen is in the house as well. Welcome in, man. I apologize, guys, but that was actually done for my subathon. I had that on for my subathon. It looks like I never turned it off. But thank you so much for the $5 going over to my AFA cosplay stream. Not AFA cosplay stream, rather my AFA cosplay expenses because I do plan to cosplay during AFA later on in the year. You had a short stream, huh, DJ? Hey, what are you playing? Were you playing Euro Truck? Sorry if I forgot to ask about that. You want to go so bad? The tickets are not out yet, so I think you still got time to sign up, you know. Like, yeah. I think they have released the dates, but the dates are, how to say, the dates seem tentative at best. I think it's starting from 24th to 26th of November. Yeah. So I do, okay, if the expenses do get hit, if you guys help me meet the goal, right, I will definitely, it'll be my first time doing a cosplay over at, you know, AFA, because I've never cosplayed in my life before other than, you know, for church events and stuff like that. So, yeah, you will be making my very deepest, wildest dreams come true. Oh yeah, oh yeah, shit, you were, yeah, sorry, you're doing the Backbone unboxing. Again, your experience has been good so far, I assume. And someone said it looks like Bumblebee. Yeah, sorry, because like the other rate came in, I think your message got pushed up. It's $25 per ticket, is it? Actually, honestly speaking, $25 is still okay, man. I mean, it's not cheaper than AFA Super Creator Fest, which was in like last month, but it's I like that they actually did like a separate AFA for the creators, because it helps highlight, you know, more of the people that are creating their own original artwork and stuff. But yeah, it's not the tickets that's the issue, it's the time. I'm in college final year. Oh, no wonder. Well, if you plan your time well enough, nicely enough, you know, you can definitely find the time to go down, you know. That's it's all about time management, right? Which is always a struggle, I think, not just for you but for everyone. Yeah, even I myself have to manage my expectations sometimes, you know, with things like that. And yes, I do teach game art and design. Yes. You are doing an illustration course as well? Ah, nice. In college. Wow. Okay, which college, may I ask? Ringling, Savannah. Those are the only overseas colleges that I know. It was okay. The only bummer thing about it was the platform you are using to connect and play. You have to have the platform turned on. Ah, okay. So okay, this is a bit like TeamViewer, but the PlayStation version, isn't it? That's how I equate it to, you know. That's how I can relate to it. It is the TeamViewer version of PlayStation, right? So it just allows you to basically do TeamViewer with your PlayStation. As with TeamViewer, your PC has to be on . So I see how it is. Okay, interesting. But I'm not sure how many people will actually let their PlayStation run. But can your PlayStation be on sleep mode? That is the question. If your PlayStation can be on sleep mode and you can still connect with the backbone, right, it'll be great. Yes, please go and makan. If you have not had your makan yet, please go get it done. Put some food in the system and, you know, do whatever you gotta do after that, right? I'll catch you again, Prima IST. Let's say, I promise you, I will try my best to stop by your stream. You have been so supportive over here. And thank you, every single one of you who came in from Prima IST stream again. If you have dropped me a follow, I apologize, and it does not show up, I apologize, because Stream Elements has been a lady on PMS today, so yeah. Oh, you're in Malaysia. I can whisper you the name. Oh, sure. Can. I know you don't want to dox yourself, so it's fine. Supporting the C gang, indeed. Supporting the C gang. as the kids like to call it these days, right? Gang, right? Gang. And those freaking NPC stuff. I tested on both Steam Link and PS Remote Play. It's not that bad. My PS4 is on rest mode. So you'll be using controller mostly PS. Okay. Okay, I'm surprised that it can connect to the PS4. Okay, so it's actually... Okay, so as long as your platform is a PlayStation, it can connect. Okay, not talking about the legacy models lah, of course. But as long as it's like PS4 and above, it can be connected lah. Right? I didn't know that you can actually connect it to the PS4 as well. But Jeff, do you plan to get a... Okay, this is not me like tempting you or whatnot. Okay, do you plan to get a PS5? Because I think with the backbone, right, it will be even better if you got a PS5. If I reckon correctly. But yes, guys, again, just a reminder, you can drop me a follow over on Punch. If let's say you don't want to be interrupted by ads, I'm also, if let's say you sub to me on Punch as well, aka Kick. Because down there, right, I get 95% cut of the sub revenue. So that money will be absolutely be going also to the AFA cosplay. So again, thank you so much, Rami3. I'm sorry if I have not mentioned given you thanks yet, but thank you again for dropping the $5. It really means a lot, man. I probably should remove that soundbite, though, the metal bar dropping thing. PS4 and above, but on PS4 some games are not compatible. Oh, right, okay. Alright, I mean, that makes sense. No, leave it, it's perfect. Oh, shit. That was really loud though. Like, it literally brought people out of the look. Actually, now you want to get PS4, right? Sorry, PS4. You want to get PS5, right? It's a good time because they just dropped the price. They just dropped the price of the PlayStation. Yeah. Nero, bro, thank you so much for the follow. Again, must be one of you from Twitch, right? I appreciate it. Again, I do have... What's this? Okay, in case you guys don't know what I'm building at the moment, I am building a HG Phenex Gundam, right? The GFT version, okay? So GFT stands for Gundam Front Tokyo, which is a special edition of the Gundam. And it's no longer available on the market because GFT no longer exists. Gundam Front Tokyo no longer exists. Of course, it's now re-christened as what do you call it? Gundam Base? Yeah. I don't know how I will get it here in SG or go to GP to get it. Bumblebee! Yes, he does look a bit like Bumblebee. Somebody was saying he looks like Godar on here, you know. The Gunpla enthusiasts will say that this is a curry yellow Gundam. Because if you look at the you look at the finishing, right, it looks a bit like curry. Yeah? Like somebody pour curry all over the Gundam, then it hardened, right, and then it came out like this, you know. But yeah, I still love the colors on this. It's a special color edition, so no, I don't regret getting it. Absolutely, I don't. Okay, but yeah, now is actually, why would you go to Japan to get it though? Because Japan, won't it be okay? It won't be region locked lah. But why not get it in Singapore? Easier to ship it, right, to your house and stuff. By the way, how I got my PlayStation 5, I literally traded up my PS4 and for a PS5 at Chisa, and that's how I got it. And then just a day after that, sorry, not a day after that, but just a week after I traded up for a PS5, right? Guess what? Sony decided to drop the price of the PlayStation 5. I'm like, seriously, Sony? I mean, okay, I have a feeling that they are coming out with a new version of the PlayStation, which is why they dropped the price. But my goodness, it could have been done at the worst time for me, right? But I guess most of you now have a reason to go and get a PS5. All tax refund, right? I mean, true. But you literally have to. I mean, I'm sure you could lug it all the way back. Hopefully, you have the luggage space for it. You might need like a separate suitcase for it, or a separate like not separate carry-on, but a separate like check-in luggage, right, for it. Because I remember bringing home and this was when I was very young and was very extreme. I helped buy things for my friends from when I went overseas, right? There was this one time I went to get a PG Gundam, PG Strike Freedom Gundam, for my friend when I went to Taiwan, because in Taiwan the Gundam or the Gunplas there are so damn cheap, right? So I remember my friend ordered, pre-ordered, his PG Strike Freedom, right? And he pre-ordered it I think for $230 something. At that time, $230 something. But in Taiwan, guess how much it was going for? It was nearly half the price. Kid the Kai! Yo, welcome in. Is this from Gundam? I think you meant Gundam, right? No, it's not from Gundam Seed. This is from Gundam Unicorn. And also from that other Gundam series which I do not watch. I keep forgetting its name. Yeah. Yeah, perfect grade is so X. Yes, it is indeed. But guess what? I saw the same PG Gundam at Taiwan for 125 Sing only. Okay, this is Strike Freedom, mind you. Okay, PG Strike Freedom for 125. I don't know if it was second hand, first hand, or whatnot, but it was in damn good, perfect condition, and it was. I don't know how they made it so damn cheap. I think Taiwan has some agreement with Japan where the taxes aren't that high and stuff like that. So it really makes a huge difference, I guess, in terms of the pricing. But holy shit! And then what happened was that after that, right? I told my friend that, hey, maybe you should just cancel your pre-order of the freaking of that Gundam, right? And let me bring that cheaper version of the, not cheaper version, but that version of the of the Gundam back for you lah, because it's almost half the price of what you're paying, right? So anyway, long story short, I lugged the whole PG Gundam back home. It was not a pleasant experience because holy crap, it was so hard to get it cleared on. It was so hard to get it cleared for it to go on the plane as a extra carry-on. By the way, I had to pay extra for carry-on. Yeah. So what I should have done is I should have checked it in instead. So some of the stupid things that we do when we are young, right? Just to help our friends and stuff. Yeah. Perfect Grade does not really follow the original Gundam model. It looks and moves. And the articulation definitely is a lot better, and it's a lot closer in terms of mobility and how you can pose it. Which is why, but the problem with Perfect Grade is that if you want to build it right, it's gonna take a damn long time for you to build it. Yeah, like really. Oh yeah, can we shout out Kid the Kai, by the way? He's a streamer as well, variety streamer. Do pop in over and show him some love. Yeah, I'm a little bit hesitant to build. I'm a bit hesitant to build Perfect Grade because it takes way too long.
On this wet ass pussy. See some wet ass pussy.
What's how you say that word?
I have no words, kid. But that's what came out, and it is what it is. Quality content right there. But yeah. Alright, brother, I head off first. Yes, please. Those of you who raided in, thank you so much for bringing your community in. I will catch you guys on the flip side if you have to go off and do your stuff and whatnot. Have a good rest, DJ, and thank you once again so much for the raid. I'll catch you again real soon. You know, I always like to do these like shout outs to people as they are leaving. DJ and also Primer because he went to makan, right? Yeah. I lost 54 USD last week on trading your trading account. Oh no, Luffy. What are we gonna do about that? Welcome in, Luffy. Hope your Saturday is doing okay. Besides the fact that you've lost money, but crypto took a nosedive, man, over the past few days. Like, in fact, it took a nosedive yesterday, right? Holy shit. I think it's probably scared the shit out of a lot of the people, a lot of the retail investors, right? So that was not fun. Makan indeed. Makan. Hey, actually, shit. Am I doing this right? Wait. Ah, damn. Okay, I pulled out the wrong thing. By the way, guys, I don't claim to be a professional Gunpla builder. For those of you who come in, you will see me making a lot of mistakes on stream, especially when I'm. Guys, when they multitask, they aren't the best. This music, yeah, hey, I do have song requests on, guys. You can put on your favorite songs if you want to, !SR, followed by the YouTube link to the song you want to hear. For example, something like this. This is just my default playlist for stream. Also, I'm not a DJ by any chance. Hey, what the shit, man? Hey, is this stream element's really not working for me? What the shit? Oh my god. I can't enjoy weekend. I'm waiting patiently for next month to start. Markets for open for my revenge. Okay. Can Luffy. Okay, Luffy, I must tell you there is indeed more to life than just these things, alright? So just take it easy, alright? Things will get better, right? Even though it's the bear market, There we go. Hey, Stream Elements is literally working for everyone but me. I'm the streamer here. Stream Elements, I'm the streamer here. Like, anyway. Yeah, you guys know what to do. By the way, I wanted to watch this movie with my wife, the Barbie movie, because I heard it was really good. That and Oppenheimer. What's everybody's thoughts on Barbie and Oppenheimer, guys? Or as they call it, Barbieheimer. Eh, shit. Why is it not fitting in? Okay, I have to see how does this flip up? Am I supposed to flip this upwards? Sun. Alright, this is confusing. I don't know about you guys, but sometimes building Gunpla models is like building IKEA furniture. It sometimes does not... If it does not fit, you're doing it wrong, Alright, yeah, I am indeed flipping this the wrong way. This is supposed to go in this way. Yep. Makes sense, alright. I watched Barbie twice and cried both times, really? Damn, okay. Right. I will definitely catch it when it comes out on Netflix or stuff like that, Hopefully I can. Because like I said, I've heard nothing but good things about Barbie and Barbieheimer and the like, Shit, man. Why is this like... Okay, again, not pro Gunpla builder here, okay guys? Alright, just letting you guys know. That's the night away. Okay, I need to see how does this actually work. So it should be facing upwards, right? Not facing backwards like that. Doesn't feel right. Japanese instructions, damn, be damned. Oh man, I don't know if I'm doing this right. Okay, if it doesn't fit, then it's wrong. Yep, okay, it doesn't fit, it's wrong. Stares at your build. Hey, don't judge me! Don't judge me, alright? I'm trying my best here, alright? Ah, okay. Okay, now it fits. Now it fits. Okay, it's absolutely working. It should be correct. Yep. I can't judge. I've never built one a day in my life. Oh no. Hey, no. Hey, this one took us a few streams. Rami. I think it took us about 5. This is the 5th stream that I'm building this, so it definitely took quite a while. Or is it the 6th one? So I do it in 3-hour spurts from time to time. And at the same time, I love chatting with you guys, which is why I build stuff on stream, you know, to keep me going. Definitely building this on my own will be a lot faster, but it does get very quiet when you build it on your own. So I like some company, you know, this is why I started building this on stream. And also I need to clear my backlog of like God knows how many Gunpla. I'm always losing count of my backlog. But yeah, I need to control a bit. And I'm also clearing my backlog so I can get more Gunpla, you know. Yeah, which is why I started building Gunpla on stream. In the bid to, you know, try and clear my backlog faster. And so far we've built like, I think what, 3 kits on stream already. Respect the hustle. I mean, I do what I gotta do. I do what I gotta do. But again, Ra, thank you so much for keeping me company, man. You can call me, can call you Ra, right? Hey, are you a streamer as well? Because I see a VT at the end of your tag. If you are, let me give you a follow. Ramitri, you're VTuber. All right. Let's go. Let's get it. Respect the hustle, indeed. All right. Let's go. All right. Yeah, I'll pop you out. Pop you out. Pop you out. I will check you out, man. Yeah. Wow. See. I love my mods. Dexifer always on the ball. But I haven't streamed in a while because of college. Yeah, I completely understand, you know. Yeah, don't feel pressured to stream. You know, I think school is so much more important than, you know, streaming and stuff. Do what you gotta do, man. And come back whenever you can. And yeah, I'll try my best to catch you out check you out when you do come back. I can't English, man. Like terrible. I'm so terrible at multitasking. You'll see a lot of these patterns start to emerge on my stream, by the way, guys. Yeah, really bad at multitasking over here. Not the best. I won't say I'm the best at multitasking. I won't say I'm bad at it, but... Oh, wait. Okay, so it's supposed to be this way? What are the two ball holes for then? Shit. Deadlines are next week. Yeah, of course. I mean, please hit your deadlines first, before you decide to stream. I do know a few of my students stream as well, and I always tell them, some of my students do pop in from time to time when I'm streaming. I always tell them, yeah, please go and finish your assignments first before you come and watch me do my stuff. Anyway, y'all can catch me on the VOD. can watch the VOD and stuff like that. It's all good. It's all Gucci. Okay. Yeah, guys. Seriously, I do aim to finish this Gunpla by today, because it's been way too long. We've been spending way too much time on it, and I really want to move on to the next plastic model that I should be building, which is actually not a Gunpla but a Zoids plastic model. So I am looking forward to start on that one soon. I haven't streamed since my uni started. Hey, uni is not easy, man. Like, okay, whether you're in college or uni, it's the hustle that's important, right? Like, your main job as a student is to study and to do your best at, you know, your studies, right? Once you come out to work, you know, you decide how you want to manage your lifestyle. Like for me, I can juggle both my work and streaming at the same time. So I try my best to, you know, maintain that in a sense. My first follower is my watercolor lecturer. Oh shit! Really? I like how your lecturers are so nice and chill about this streaming thing, which is really cool. I think, in fact, if any of my students is here, I do encourage them to stream as well, but not at the expense of deadlines lah. I think it also helps make you accountable in that sense on what you're doing on stream, like whether or not it's the right time for you to stream or not. Also, by the way, I should turn off this ocarina. Sometimes you stream your assignments, like co-working streams and stuff, or when you're doing your when you're like coloring your assignments, puts pressure on you to finish. Wow, that's a lot of pressure, by the way. Yeah, I don't know if back in the day, will I actually do that sort of thing if I was a student still? Like if I was a student now, will I actually? I'm not sure if I'll actually do that because. Yeah, I like to work at my own pace and stuff, but it does definitely help. Co-working, yeah. I did do a little bit of co-working stream on Kick not too long ago, but I think I just lost the energy to do it. I used to do co-working streams on Thursday mornings and noons, just so as to help me focus, but I realized it was also getting a little bit distracting, which is why I kind of stopped the co-working for a bit. I may do a little bit of co-working streams again once the holiday comes around in September for me. Yeah, we'll see about that. We'll see about that. Hey, Dark Chili, welcome in. Hey, can we give a shout out to Dark Chili, my man, my boy, my homie, who loves pro wrestling? How's life, man?
Acknowledge me.
Co-working is co-working is good, but sometimes you do get distracted while you're the one doing the co-hosting. And let's go, coming in with that MH World, Dark Chili. How many songs can I put in the playlist? If you are not subscribed, you can. I think you have a limit of 5 songs, or five free songs, or 3 free songs. I can't remember. I think it's 3. If you want to put unlimited numbers, you have to sub. Yeah. So I have a question. It's pro wrestling related. Shoot, man, shoot. Do give Darth Chili a follow because he's a variety streamer. I think that was the last time you're playing D4 as well. He's a good friend of the stream, so show him some love, guys. Show him some of that nice toasty love. How's your Saturday, man? Darth Chili. Shoot your pro wrestling question. How interested am I in going to Wrestle Kingdom? Wait, next year? Oh, truth be told, not that much, because I have not been watching Wrestle Kingdom for quite some. Wrestle Kingdom, New Japan for. I've not been religiously following it lah. So my interest in going there is not that great. But I know that the recent G1 was quite on fire. There was the Naito and Ospreay match that took the wrestling world by storm. I have yet to watch that one. Just see how are you organizing sort of like a trip over there? Because if you are, okay, the problem with going to Wrestle Kingdom next year is that I have work. Yeah, during that period. So it will be a bit problematic for me. Yeah. I wish I could take leave, but I have to, you know, I will probably have to be, I'll have to do some teaching, yeah. Hey, you guys can use the dance, exclamation point dance also as well. You'll pop in a very interesting, you know, bunch of emotes. It won't be organized, more or less just saying if there are people committed, it can take a small section. Oh, you want to book an entire section now? Is that what you're trying to do, Darth? Gamble on Kenny versus Osprey at the Dome. Wait, is it been slated or are they like just, you know... Or is it rumored to be in the works? Oh yes, they are JoJo dance right there, guys. Rumored. You know what they should have done? They should have do Osprey Omega 3 at All In. I feel that should have been the marquee match over there, but okay lah, I understand it's like a New Japan title and stuff, so yeah, I mean it makes sense to do it at their, you know, at the biggest event of the year for them. Okay, so I'm supposed to, yeah. Man, this shield is a lot more complicated than I expected it to be. Huh. Yeah, so this looks a little bit more complex than I made it out to be, man. Okay, I hope I'm doing it right. Oh, just whack. Alley-oop. There we go. Okay, seems correct to me. I'm not scuffing it. Okay, should be fine. F13 and F7. I saw the first one live ringside and it was too crazy. Yeah. Okay, I had a friend that actually went there on his own as well. To Wrestle Kingdom. Tidal Forge, one of my mods, he went to Wrestle Kingdom on his own and he had such a blast. Even though like it was the view, I think he took one of the cheap seats and it was very far away, but the atmosphere was wow. It was really something else, yeah. I have no problem with the grouping of Kenny, Hangman, and Bushi versus Jay White, Juice, and Takeshita. The history they can pull from this match. Yes, okay, I am interested to see how that goes, simply because of the fact that it's like a Don Callis versus the Elite situation. Takeshita has a lot of potential. I just feel that his potential is being... how to say, he's being squandered simply because he's with Don Callis, you know. He doesn't fit the whole, like, bad guy kind of vibe for me, you know. But yeah, I guess they decided to book him that way. Hey, Yoru, welcome in. It's good to see you. I'm going to give you the normal shout out, so your eye don't pop out. Hold. But yeah. Well, how's your Saturday, Yoru? Oh, I keep forgetting I have to keep taking from this pile. Okay. Right, we're almost done with the shield. What will be left is the beam rifle and the beam sabers. I hope I can finish this. And I may have to speedrun this because it's already like 4 PM and I'm probably taking way too long. How's your Saturday, by the way? Oh, hey, you're walking home from the Comic Expo. How was it, man? It's at Suntec, right? How is it crowded and stuff? I heard you have to pay like $19 to get in, right, or something like that. Yeah, hope the crowd wasn't too bad. Singapore has been having a lot of these mini conventions as of late, huh? For those of you who are staying here locally. Oh, it's only 10, right? Hey, didn't they have like a Maker Quest thing like last week as well over at Suntec? It's crazy the amount of these like super creators fest and stuff that's been going around in Singapore. It's like everyone's trying to it's almost like everyone's trying to promote the art scene, or it's like Revenge Con going, right? I don't know how many of you like know this term, like revenge. They call it revenge holidaying. They have also revenge con attending, right? Because now that COVID is like almost a thing of the past already, you know, things are coming back to the fore. Yeah, there's been a lot of cons as of late, right, here in Singapore. So it's pretty interesting to note. But okay, yeah, please stay safe as you make your way back. Do not knock into a lamppost or something, you know, as you're like as you're making your way back home, right? I think that's the last thing I want to happen to you. Revenge travel. Yes, it's called revenge travel. Is the first time you're hearing? I think it's like a thing now, where people are just going to different destinations as much as possible, all because they couldn't do it while COVID was around. Yeah, so it is a thing. It is a thing. I am you know, I have not exactly traveled out of the country. I mean, I did go to Malaysia for a bit. JB, which is just like a few hours out of Singapore. For just a few short trips with my wife and stuff. But that's about it. We haven't really gone out far and wide just yet. Although we are kind of planning for a trip, sort of, in September to go Bangkok or something like that. Yeah, and I may want to go down to Japan for TGS on my own as well. Revenge is everything to my to my life now. Why? Hey, be careful with how you trade your money though. Like don't because of, you know, sentiments of revenge and stuff, then you start to throw in money anyhow. Got to make back what you lost. I mean, be wise lah with your investment, alright? The last thing you want to do is lose everything. Like the so-called flash crash that happened yesterday in crypto. Yeah, just be careful, right, guys? I'm guilty of this then. I want to do it so badly though, actually. Like seriously, because like I said, it's if it's not okay, here's the funny thing about adulthood, right? You have the ability to spend on travel and going to these nice places and stuff, but you just simply don't have the time, and it's so difficult to plan holidays these days, right? You know, or to plan holidays mainly because, right, there's so many things to consider, and also there's people to consider as well, like where to go, what to sightsee and stuff like that, you know. Have the money, exactly, right? Which is why I have a huge backlog and no time to build it, right? And on stream is the only time I get a chance to build this thing. Alright. But there we go. This, I think, is the Phenex. I think it's the back wing. And I have to build this twice. Holy shit. Okay, I have to do double of this because apparently this goes to the back, right? Yeah, actually at the rate we are going, I don't think I can finish it. Yeah. I'll try guys, I'll try, alright? So I have to speed run this a bit. Give me a sec. Oh. Okay. So this thing debated me. There are two parts of this. There's two sides of this, because this is obviously the wing part, right? This thing goes to the back and stuff like that. So yeah. Hey, welcome back, Neko. Hey, please, yeah, go get your dinner, right? I think it should be quite dark over there in Japan at the moment. Right now, it's almost like 5 already, and it usually gets quite dark around that time. So yes, please go get your dinner. Later, got time and money but no energy. Yeah, exactly right. Got time, got money but no energy. Yeah, you know, your CPF money, everything come in already. Then after that, wow, shit. Now too old to travel. No, but I really hope I can keep going until, like, you know, I'm old and grey. I mean, I would love to keep on traveling as much as I possibly can, you know. Yeah, that'll be great, you know. Which is why, again, I really wish I can. I really hope I can go to TGS this coming September. If not on my own, then, you know, with some friends, hopefully, yeah. Allocated vacay days though. I mean, my allocated vacay days can only take place in September. That's the thing, because of I'm teaching in the school, so they only allow us to travel, you know, and go to you know, these places like in September when the kids are having their break and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, no worries, man. Go ahead and put in as much as you want. If not, it's just gonna keep playing my like default playlist, which I think some of you may not be into the same kind of music that I am. I have a lot of EDM tracks on like Madion and Don Diablo tracks on there, so yeah, it may not be to your liking. Who knows? Yeah, exactly. So it's very difficult for me lah in particular to plan around holidays and stuff. And it's even worse because my wife also, she teaches part-time in the school as well. But our holidays also at the same time, the school holidays don't really coincide. So we can only go for short trips together at this point. Unless she chooses to leave, her place of work or something like that, like, one of these days. Yeah. I know as a part-time lecturer, sorry, not part-time, part-time teacher for her, she has a little bit more flexibility, but the holidays are still pretty much the same, So, unfortunately, it is what it is. Just like exercising, time to put in some TikTok music. Put in. I mean, please, no yao ai, Yoru, I know you love your yao ai, but yeah, stop it. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Okay. Sorry guys, I have to speed run this thingamajig a little. Because I need to get this done out and about by end of the stream as much as I possibly can. Because I need to be up and off at 5. Like I said, it's gonna be a really short stream. And I really intend to complete this ASAP. I didn't know the shield parts were gonna be that complicated. I didn't know the shield parts were gonna be that many. But then again, freaking yeah, because it's HG, right? If it's HG, it shouldn't be that bad. I wasn't expecting it to be that bad. Okay, but since we already finished one side, it should be a lot faster. Where am I going? I'm going for a dinner tasting with my wife. Yes. What cuisine we are having, I am not exactly sure. But I will post up some pictures on my IG. Again, I am TohVahKiin across all socials. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, which is called X now, by the way. I apologize for that. Yes. So, yeah, come in. Go pop me a follow over on those platforms. All right. Jeez, I can't English, man, when I'm trying to multitask. Sick shit. Amplify is such a good song. Ren Zotto music banger. Is this a DJ by some chance? Ren Zotto. Crop pop a follow. It's exclamation point socials. That will bring up all my handles. But it's just TohVahKiin everywhere. Oh, he's a VTuber. Like a VTuber DJ? Yeah, that actually sounds quite cool. The idea of that, at least. Ren Zotto. Somebody was talking about Ultraman Blazar earlier on as well. That's another thing that I'll definitely check out at the end of the stream. Ultraman Blazar, right? That's what some of you were talking about earlier. Oh shit. I may have chipped off a bit of this, but it's all good. Yikes. Okay, never mind. It's okay, it's okay. It's all good. It's all nice and Gucci. Is it a TikTok song, man? Oh, okay. Now I heard the chorus. Okay, now I know. Yeah, this is 100% a TikTok song. Hey, shit. Oh, great. I have to... I hope I don't snap this. I should have filed this down. Damn it. This thing cannot fit because I didn't file it down. Damn it. Ah, there we go. This song is so sad. Tap or snap? Ah, no. Hopefully it's tap, not snap. I'm done breaking like Gunpla parts, guys. Like I don't wish to break anymore. Like I broke so many of it when I was building the Banshee Gundam. So I'm trying my best not to break any more Gunpla parts here, especially for HG, you know. Guess I don't know my own strength sometimes. I saw a lot of my TikTok vids got this music. Yes. Now that I hear the chorus, yeah, it's coming to it's I'm being reminded of what it is. I'm gonna shave this down and then put it in. There we go. Okay. Yes, guys, song requests are on. Feel free to pop in your favorite song requests if you can. If you wanna. If you coulda, if you shoulda. I need to sponsor you some top coat for this kid. Why? Why need top coat? Don't need what? Just cause it looks like just cause this thing looks like a curry Gundam, you know. Why need top coat? I don't plan to paint this, guys. Yeah. I'm not planning to paint this, right? I like the color as it is. FMSSK? FMSK. I hope I'm not butchering your name. Welcome in. Thank you for the follow. Good to see you here. Welcome to the Toasties and welcome to chat. How is your Saturday? Also, that makes you my 1,400 follower. Nailed it. Nice emote there. Welcome in. Guys, we just hit 1.4k followers, like literally on the dot. Thank you so much for the follows. Holy shit. Wow. Damn, I know I should be jumping with joy, but yeah, 1.4k followers, yo, let's go. It's a long time coming, guys. I think now it's road to 1.5k. Yeah, I know, like Twitch doesn't show like the exact follower count on, like, you know, the person's page. It tends to fluff up the numbers a bit. But yeah, you're literally my number 1.4k. It's all my doing. Sure, welcome in. Also, tell us a bit more about yourself. How did you even find the stream? First time chatter, welcome in. I'm gonna take a guess. You were looking for people who are building Gunpla and you happened to discover my stream. isn't it? Ah, well, that's how most people discover me. So everybody has come here. Every new person that has popped by here has kind of told me the same thing. So it looks like the tags are working. So Kick, if you're watching me on Kick, if you're watching me, please get your tags up. Please make sure, like, you'll be doing us a huge favor once you put tags on. Like, seriously, Kick, do something about it. Yeah, I really wish Kick like had tags, and I know they're in the midst of coming out with tags and stuff, but yeah, it's taking quite a while for them. Normally follow people who are on camera and seem entertaining. Yeah, you find me entertaining? Well, how's this for entertaining? I don't know if you're a Zelda fan, but oh, I did it wrong. It's... I need to do other songs. I need to figure out how to do other songs on this thing. There we go. Alright. I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, this is just a little something that I have on my stream, and you guys can mess around with it as well. It's !Ocarina on or off. Like, it's Ocarina to turn it Ocarina off, !Ocarina off to turn it off. !Ocarina on to turn it on. Yeah. It's not rocket science. But yeah, I'm the reason why I put it up is because I'm in the middle of a Breath of the Wild playthrough, which I've been really addicted to as of late. At really unhealthy levels. just to mention. Song requests are on as well. !SR followed by the YouTube link to the song you want to hear. More addicted, yeah. I kid you not. Like, for a game that was released 5 years ago, it's doing, to me, it's way better than D4. I think I'm kind of like fatigued by D4 already lah. Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry lah, but D4 I think I'm a little bit too fatigued by it, especially since I was playing like a shit ton of it like not too long ago. But I will do a little bit more D4 streams in the future because yeah, I need to. My sorcerers are feeling a bit lonely, yeah. You know, down in Sanctuary. Okay, yeah, this is the part I can always never figure out again. That's always fun. Sharing some music from around the world. Yeah. Put it on. Put on your favorite music. We are all here to vibe, chill. It's called build chilling for a reason, not Bing chilling. Build chilling, alright? Because we are building and we're chilling. That's what we do here, guys. But FMS, do you collect Gunpla or do you build Gunpla yourself? Because I'm assuming this because you were looking for Gunpla streamers and here I am. Take your phone tonight. Want to let you know that. Oh, you would like to paint a booth at some point. Oh, wait. So are you're working in the events industry, painting a booth? I mean, I'm assuming this from when you tell me that you paint booth and stuff. Or you say you would like to paint like Gunpla and stuff like that. Oh, this is old school, man. Love it. The Bidwells, huh? I should put like my song titles on stream, right, guys? Before I start stream. Yeah, this song is a whole vibe. Not gonna lie. Alright, trust. I have to finish this before 5. Or at least sometime before 5. Alright, guys. Also, I hope everyone's doing well on this very fine Saturday noon or late noon here in Singapore. It's late, yes, it's indeed late noon here in Singapore, guys. How did I do this again? This part? Jeez. It's facing outward. It's facing up. This song is very boogie woogie, not gonna lie. It's got the boogie woogie vibes. Oh shit. Is this the correct part? Am I utilizing the wrong part? Oh wait, it's the okay. My bad. Yeah, okay, cool. Cool beans, nice. Very nice. Oh shit! Oh, I almost forgot to insert the joint in. Oh, you want to do an airbrush booth, right? Hey, man, if you have the space for that, you absolutely should. Because most of us here are from Southeast Asia. I'm here in Singapore at the moment. We have very limited space where we are at. Even in our houses, our homes, we have very tight spaces. Singapore is a very small country. So space is a premium here. If you have the space to set up a booth, man, go for it, man. I mean, I wish I had a space here to do an airbrush booth as well. I'll definitely set it up, man, for sure. But I would like to say, again, I am by no means a professional Gunpla builder. I am a casual. I am a filthy casual, as I am with most games. Except for Pokemon Unite for a while. I was not a filthy casual at some point. I was a little bit competitive. You gotta have room to have exhaust system. Yeah, exactly. Like, man, I don't know how you'll be able to manage without an exhaust system. Like, you're gonna just gas yourself. True. Like, throughout the entire, you know, thing. Yeah. You're just gonna gas yourself. Like, you're just gonna fill the whole room with the gaseous exhaust fumes and whatnot. And that's not gonna be pretty for sure. By the way, yes, I am streaming on Kick as well. I should say Punch. If you would be so kind, you can pop on over there and give me a follow as well, or sub to me over there, because you can watch me there ad free. I think that's the most important thing. If you sub to me over there, you get emotes too, and all that good stuff. Wow, I can't even find anyone on Kick. I don't even bother. Yeah, which is why I'm encouraging you guys to hop on over if you can to help boost my numbers up on there. But Toru, how was your stream? Welcome in, 6,000 of you. Hello. How's everything? How's your Saturday, Potoru? Hello everyone from Potoru stream. Welcome in. My name is TohVahKiin, lecturer by day, streamer by night. I built Gunpla, obviously, as you guys can see. But when I'm not building Gunpla on the weekends, I am playing a bunch of RPG games on the weekdays itself. Toru is a professional war crime streamer. Playing Ready or Not. The game with a bunch of war crimes. There he is, sniping people in PUBG. I didn't know you play PUBG. Okay, but then again, you play a lot of FPS, right? If I'm not wrong. Jeez, that's loud. That was a long time ago, right? Appreciate the hustle. May I respect those of you who are playing like FPS, any FPS that is not Valorant, at least. But yeah, this is for all you fantastic raiders here. There we go. As for all 6,000 of you raiders from Potoru stream, Chief, did you commit any professional war crimes today? On Ready or Not again? Do tell us a bit of your what's the haps with you this Saturday. Yeah, but that goes out to you. You had a pretty good stream, I would assume. I think you mentioned that stream is rather laggy. Okay, so I do have to mention that Stream Elements is a little bit anal today for whatever reason. It's been acting up on me, but apparently the shoutout still works, so I don't know what's up with that. Hey Digidon, thank you so much for the 1 bit again. Warren Graham, welcome back. It's good to see you. Hello. How was everybody's Saturday? Oh man, this song is supposed to be played yesterday because it's literally called TGIF. Thank God I'm flying. Looks so cool. Oh, thank you. Yes, I'm okay. So for those of you who just came in from the raid, I appreciate all of you so damn much. I am almost done building this Gunpla, which is the HG Phenex Gundam from Unicorn. Okay, Unicorn Gundam. This is a special edition Gundam. It's from Gundam Front Tokyo, which no longer exists, and I think this is no longer available in the market because it's a special edition Gunpla. So yeah, we are almost done with it. So you guys came in just in time while my tongue is getting tight. Yeah, we just which is the name of the game of this stream, right? Literally built chilling. We are here built chilling and just chilling and having fun, just shooting the breeze mostly. But Toro, I didn't know you stream on Saturdays. I apologize, I've not caught your streams as of late because I've been... work has been a bitch. But hey, I'm glad you guys are here. I'm glad you guys chose to drop the kids off over here on this stream. So Potoru, if you have to head on off to chill and whatnot, to freshen up, do your post-stream stuff, I completely understand. But I appreciate leaving your amazing community in my... hopefully very loving hands. This is a limited edition finish. I won't say it's the color. The color is gold, but if you look at the finishing of this build itself, right? It looks a bit like curry. It's like curry color like that, Some people here call it curry because it has like this liquidy sort of plastic look to it, if you can tell. Yeah, I know the color, the lighting isn't doing it much justice because it's a bit overexposed, but yeah, that's what we're working with today. Yep. Yeah. Okay, I think the right word to use is pearl indeed. Yes. Thanks for correcting me. Yeah, pearl. I won't say it's exactly pearl gloss, but they did try their best to make it look like pearl gloss, as you can tell. Yeah, I think that's the right word, right? Pearl, to make it sound less, degradatory, right? Like gaudy yellow, like what? I've been corrupted by some people that left. They're too particular with the way their gunpla looks. But anyway, yeah, Potoru, again, yeah, if you have to lurk, go do whatever you need to do, I understand. But again, just appreciate so much for the raid and all you wonderful people for popping in. Fried chicken gold! You did. I guess that's one way of putting it. Fried chicken gold, fried, I don't know. Fried chicken nuggies and stuff. Yeah. Whatever works, right? Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, we still got one little part to step in, which is this F-16. Okay, we are almost done. We are almost done! Holy shit! That leaves the damn shit. Okay, okay, guys. I'm sorry, I have to speed run through this because I have to complete this before 5 because I need to head on out very, very soon. But again, if you love what you see, do remember to drop me a follow here on the stream, either here or on Punch, !Punch, right? I am streaming both on Kick and Punch at the same time. So, Kick and Punch. Did I say Kick and Punch? I said Twitch and Punch at the same time. So, !Punch, aka Kick. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it is. Luffy, if you want to do this, right, you have to tap one by one. So that's A, that's down. Oh, I spell wrongly. Down. Yeah. Oh my god, okay, you get what I mean. Okay, anyway, I need to finish this. This freaking scuff shit. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah, I'm trying to focus on finishing this real quick. Yeah. But actually, I think more or less we can call it done deal already because the rest is just putting on the blasters and yeah, putting on the blaster and the shield. Yeah. Okay, how come this thing cannot go all the way in? Okay, I have to be careful. There we go. Ooh boy, look at that! Holy crap! Those two giant wings, the shield pieces are ooh. You guys see this? Damn. Yeah, that is definitely starting to look like a Phenex itself. Oh my god! Look at that! Wow! 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 It needs further improvement. Yeah, I mean, I don't deny it needs further improvement. As in like the bot, like what, the ocarina. No, if you want to tell anyone about this, right, go and tell Nati, right, the streamer, aka Nati, right. Those of you who know who Nati is, this widget was taken from him. He is the one that came out with this widget, and I'm trying to find a way where you can actually use a redemption to play the ocarina instead. So yeah, I have to figure that out somehow, unless Nati has come up with something like that. Yeah, and for now, you can just turn on and off the ocarina whenever you want and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm just gonna turn it off though, for the time being. AP baby, hurry up, don't say baby. Okay, now that I have the wings up, I have to prop it up. Oh my god. Okay, someone did tell me that this gunpla will be very prone to falling over its back, simply because the wings are very, very heavy. Oh shit. And I guess that person was absolutely right because looks like he's about to fall over. Phenex looks like he's about to fall over anytime. Okay, so I gotta shift this a bit. Yeah, don't be lazy. Okay, Right. Now, we are done with this bit. Oh wait, actually we're not done. Shit. Okay, hold on. Yeah, I forgot to put these parts on the shield itself. Okay, now we can get down to the beam saber. I only have a few minutes left before it's 5. Damn it. AP baby. I'ma be a typical Singaporean and only complain and not give feedback. At least you know most Singaporeans are like that, right? But don't have to be lah, walao. Hey, Luffy, if you would like to give feedback on the stream as well, exclamation point survey. I have this survey that's running at the moment, and it's open to all you followers of the stream. Whether or not you just joined in the stream and whatnot, you can help me fill in this survey to help better improve the streams. Now again, I would love constructive feedback. If you don't have constructive feedback to share, don't say it. But do share, like let's say my streams can be improved in any way. Make sure you write it down in a constructive manner as well. All feedback is very, very much appreciated. Constructive especially. It'll be real nice if you guys can help me out with that. Because I've been streaming for about 3 years already, and I'm looking to see how I can better improve my streams and overall in general. So hopefully, yeah, and that form will go a long way in helping me out. So thank you so much if you are filling it out for me. I will need to get ready for touching grass. Hey, Warren Graham, thank you so much. Again, Warren, appreciate you just for being here. Thanks for the lurk and for leaving me on the lurk while you go and touch grass and stuff. Yes, guys, I'm going to be touching grass as well in just a bit, guys, once I'm done with this. I think the next thing I just need to build, okay, is the beam rifle. Once I'm done with the beam rifle, then it's just basically the shield, and then yeah, we can call it a day. Holy crap. Okay, so focus. Absolute focus right now. Absolute focus. I think it shouldn't be too much of an issue to clear these parts by today, or in the next 10 minutes at least. So I should try and speed run this a bit. Oh man, the core Gundam is so cute. Hey, welcome in, Chris. Christopher. I always like your name, man, by the way. Christopher. I was a play on that word. Yeah, we are about to finish the Phenex Gundam today. I know the core Gundam. If you're referring to this core Gundam, then yes, it is. It's absolutely stunning and beautiful. But I am trying to. I'm trying to rush to finish this little thing over here before we call it a day. How's your Saturday, man, Chris? Hope it's going well. Welcome in again. Actually, I realized I should have used my buffing machine, right? Where the shit is it? Oh, there it is. Oh, shit. I think it's out of battery. Bruh. Yeah. Bro is out of battery, man. Yep. Shit's out of battery. Okay, wait. Last bit of thing that we need to do is the beam rifle, which is here. So I'm gonna try and snap this on very, very quickly. By the way, I forgot to thank you for the shout out. So far, it's been going rough, but well. Oh well, I hope it gets better for you. And again, no problem with the shoutouts. I must thank you for the raid though. Every kind of raid, you know, follow, sub, means a lot to the stream. And I really hope your Saturday does get better from here on out. Yeah, go out, take a break, drink some, get some alcohol in the system if you have to. get some drinks, get some nice iced tea and whatnot. Yeah, kick back, relax, man, and enjoy the show. Enjoy this show at least. Oh, I need to put a sticker. Oh shit, man. Acknowledge Maku Purata. Wow, we're getting a lot of raids despite it being afternoon. Cleo on Twitch, thank you so much for the raid as well. Thank you for coming in with the raid, rather.
What?
I'm loving the jams. Yes, we have song requests on. Thanks for pointing out. Guys, please check out my good friend over here, Maku Purata. It was so nice to meet you, by the way, last Sunday at LFG event. I'm sorry, I didn't see what that clip was, but I hope your stream went well. You're playing One Piece! Damn, okay. The red alert goes hard, yes. Probably a bit too hard. I've been getting jump scared quite a fair bit by my own alerts of all things. How did One Piece go? Was One Piece fun? I'm sorry if I can't relate because I'm not a huge One Piece fan. But I hope it went well. And those of you from Maku's stream, my name is TohVahKiin. I am a lecturer by day, streamer by night, and I built Gunplas on the weekends. But when I'm not building Gunplas, I am playing RPGs on stream. RPGs like Zelda, Breath of the Wild, where this came from. It was fun. The raid sound could be rumbling. The raid sound could be rumbling from AOT. Oh damn. Well, I don't watch a whole lot of AOT, unfortunately. But this is for you, raiders. There we go. Did you use glue when creating, when building Gunpla? I try not to. I'm mostly snap build. Yes, like I said, I am a casual. I'm a filthy casual when it comes to building Gunpla, and I take it as such. and deal with it as such. You just shared some pictures on the latest build. Oh, like your build, huh? Okay, I'll pop into the Discord. Yeah, guys, !point Discord if you want to know where you can find my schedules and other pictures of Gunpla and stuff. I have a Discord, so pop on in if you can, if you want to. All are welcome. Even if you're not interested in Gunpla, you're more than welcome. But yeah, thank you so much for raiding me. Maku, if you have to head on off, if you have to rest, do what you gotta do, and I'll catch you again soon. But I really appreciate the raid nonetheless. If you have to lurk and do your post-stream stuff, I completely understand. I will catch you again on the flip side, if you will. You like boom boom boom, give me like boom boom boom. Boom boom boom, like Shinjaki, we like. Give me like boom boom boom. Wish for what's forbidden. I wish for what's forbidden. Okay guys, sorry if I am not really looking at chat now because I have to build this very quickly. Because I am running short of time. I am supposed to complete this before stream ends at around 5 because I need to head on out for dinner. So I'm trying to put this together as quickly as I can. Yes, so those of you who are new here, you'll find me building Gunplas mostly on weekends, which is kind of what I'm doing now. And what I'm building at the moment is the Phenex, HG Phenex Gundam. You're done with the feedback. Thank you so much, Luffy. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. I'll have a look at it. Anyway, I gotta go for dinner. Yeah, of course, please, please. Maku, thank you so much again for bringing your amazing community in. We are also gonna head out very, very soon once I'm done with this Gunpla, which is taking a little bit too long to complete. But we'll trust, guys. It's the word that my students like to use nowadays. Trust, everything trust. Just trust. Trust what, yeah? Mess, I'm a mess. Stress, but still the best dress. Still, let's say yes, we don't dress to impress. Right, we are so we are actually finishing off the HG Phenex, which is what you see over here, the little bad boy. We'll get it done soon. Maybe the raid shoutout could be something to, hey, the raiders are here. Yeah, I guess. Okay, the reason why I put on this raid song, right, it's very simple. It's because I love Bring Me the Horizon. I don't know how many of you actually have heard the songs from Bring Me the Horizon. They are an amazing band. Their songs touch a lot. Sorry, their songs touch a lot on depression, dealing with anxiety and stuff like that. So I like the band a lot and the songs that they put forward, which is why I have that as my raid message, or as as my raid notification. Yeah. So just to answer your question, Chris. But yeah, oh shit, I can't even like type properly now because my keyboard is like way across there. Let me turn off the ocarina. Yeah, you can turn off the ocarina as well if you want, guys. It's not just exclusive to me. You guys can play around, turn on and off the ocarina at will. I'll leave it to you guys, y'all. Alright, okay. We are done with the... Okay, how do I put this into the Gundam itself? Oh, wait, there's this thing that is sticking out. Hey, shit, how do I... Ah, okay, so I can jam it into the side of the arm here with this thing. Wait a minute, but I'm making mine. Okay, hold on, guys. Very quickly, we're gonna slot this in. Wait a minute, but I'm making mine. There we go. Woo! All right, it's got a beam rifle right underneath its arm now. Look at that. I thought the raid sound is like to keep you awake because you usually stream at night. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I never thought of it that way, but yes, I guess it could be. Very possibly. I mean, it does certainly give me away. I mean, it gives me a heart attack most of the time, if anything. Okay, we're done with the beam rifle. We only have one part left. Okay, it's already 5. Shit, my wife is probably gonna be chasing me. Okay, let me very, very quickly finish off the shield, and then we can head on off for the raid. Welcome in, by the way, Aphrodisiac. Can we give Aphrodisiac a shout out? How is your Saturday coming along, good sir? We built chilling. We are at the tail end of the stream. It was great to meet you, Aphrodisiac. Oh my goodness. Are you actually making that sound? Oh. Okay. Not for lack of trying. Alright, okay, I can't do it any better.
Come on, you guys have to try with me, okay? You guys behind your...
Okay, you gotta like gargle, but make it a very crude kind of gargling sound, right? Sort of. But hey, busy Saturday. Okay, busy. What kind of busy? Like busy with work, stuff. Because I'm busy build chilling. Busy trying to finish up this build, which I am running short on time for. I kind of regret this because My runners are all in a mess, as you can tell. This is a lesson in how not to arrange your runners, guys. I know I have a runner holder at the side, but yeah, it's absolutely not helping. Okay. Very quickly. I'm gonna make sure I complete this before end of the stream, right, guys? Use this. So fresh, so clean. I'm enough. Ready for sure. Oh, okay. Hold on. Yeah, it was great meeting you too, Aphrodisiac. Okay, if you guys heard the knock on the door, right? That's my wife. She's actually chasing me to end stream already. But we have to finish this off very quickly. Ministry of Home Affairs chasing already. What's a more? New hair, new tea, new jeans, still the same. Alright, so we gotta speed run this. Yeah, I can't wait for the next LFG event, by the way. Aphrodisiac, and to meet all you crazy, amazing people again. We had so much fun, way too much fun for our own good, I would say. But yeah. Shit, man. Wait, this is A3? Ah, there we go. Oh, this is a connecting part. I just noticed a big difference between Daban and Bandai. Hey, Game! Welcome in! Game Seckers on Gamma Seckers on over on Kick. Oh, good to see you. We are actually almost about to end stream. I am speed running this in order to finish this Gunpla by today. How's your Saturday? Gamma. I mean, I like to read out. It's just a force of habit, reading out full names. You know, being a teacher and stuff. But how's your Saturday, man? What's the main difference between Daban and Bandai? Like, okay, Daban obviously is not as intricate as Bandai for sure in terms of the intricacy or the details in the parts. That's the only thing I can decipher from. That's the main difference. Anyway, Daban is supposed to be like the fake version of the as they say in Singapore, the Chiong version of Bandai Gunpla kits. The plastic on Daban, I was behaving work night. It was the Saturday where I drank with you guys. Ah, okay, yeah, alright. I mean, it was a work day the next day for me, but I kind of took MC. Anyway. Yeah, I did feedback and told Mel that it would have been great. It was if it was on a Saturday or Friday, wow, that would be the best. But being able to, they mentioned that being able to find places on Saturday and Sunday are very difficult, which is why they ended up putting it on Sunday. So I completely understand that point. The plastic on Daban, at least on my Unicorn Fighter, went a bit yellow on the arm after a long time on the white part. Oh, that is gonna happen regardless of whether it is Daban or Bandai, because you should see my Unicorn Gundam. If I had time, I will put it up here on stream to show you that it has absolutely started to go yellow, and it will happen as long as it's plastic parts. Yeah. How yellow is another thing lah, you know. because I believe quality parts will always shine through regardless. And okay, we are almost done. Okay, once we are done with this, right, I have to pop on out from stream, and I will showcase to you guys the finished product at the end of at the start of the next Gunpla stream, okay? Because I have to run off very, very soon. If not, the Ministry of Home Affairs is gonna kill me. Saturday just started. You go out on camp. Oh, is it like what, a holiday camp or something like that? Like summer camp? Okay, you can tell I'm rushing through this as like a mad dog. Again, I know I will be a lot faster if if I had done this off stream. But okay, I think what I will do is cap this off. Eh, shit. Ah. Okay. Oh, I still got these parts. Okay, A9. Okay. You know what, guys? Let me just attach this on real quick and then we'll call it a day, yeah? Like how the yellow under the arm of your white shirt when you sweat. The shield do have, yes! Very, very surprised that this HG Gunpla has a lot of parts, man. For the shield on this. Yeah, I understand what you mean about the white parts. Like, your Bandai kits are gonna get it as well, Chris. Your Bandai kits, like, as long as it's white, it's gonna get yellow, for sure. It's how you maintain it. And if you don't maintain it, yeah, it will most certainly get... it will most certainly turn yellow after a while. It's common, it's common. Yeah, and I can tell you that 100% from experience. I don't understand why the shield parts are like separate from the back shield parts are separate from like the front shield parts. It's like it's a bit yeah, not discombobulating. That's not the right word. It's a bit disorienting. Sometimes I wish some of these parts like that weren't that many. But okay. Guys, we are gonna head on off once we are done with this. Alright guys, because it's getting real late, I have to head on out. I'm going to... Okay, what I want you guys to do very, very quickly is to help boost the numbers on Kick at the moment. We only have 4 viewers over there. Because we need at least 5 people to host someone on Kick. And we are going to find someone very quickly that we can raid on out to, okay? Because I have to run off. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'll probably have to raid and run and stuff like that. Besides the broken V fin when it fell down many times, but my the shield do have a lot. But my EG RX78 2 built around December still looks pristine. Yeah, no, I'm talking about like over time. Over time, it will absolutely turn yellow one. Yeah. That is undeniable. That's unquestionable. Yeah, I mean, of course, if it's in recent time, it won't turn yellow so quickly. But you give it like 2 years or 3, yeah, we'll see how it holds up, man. It's a thing. As long as it's plastic, you know, it's gonna happen. without question. Okay, jeez, why is it so hard to... You guys can tell I'm not even like filing down some of these parts already. I'm just like snap building them so that, you know, we can get this done real quick and then pop on out. Shit. Some kind of hero. And dance with me before the sun comes down. Who's gonna stop me now? Some kind of hero. Oh man, how do I even like put this in? Oh, it's on the opposite side. Wait. Huh? Wait, what? Did I put this in the wrong way? Oh shit, man. Okay. Hello! Hey SWAT, welcome in, man. It's good to see you. Give me a sec, guys. I put this in the wrong way. I am in the midst of rushing to complete this build because, holy shit, I am running out of time. Thanks for popping in this late, good sir. I am about to end stream because I'm running late for an appointment. My wife is chasing me to get out of the house to go for dinner soon. So I'm sorry if I'm not looking at chat very actively. He was looking from the start. I recommend old Mechanium for a raid. He just started streaming. Oh, okay, we'll see about that because I have to... Because there might be people that I'm interested in raiding out to as well. Thank you so much for lurking though, I appreciate it. SWAT. I hope your Saturday is coming along well. Okay, bro, I think we're done. And all I need to do right now is just to attach this to... Where do I attach this to? I think over here. Wow, this is way too many parts to the Gundam. Or is it in the middle? Like, okay, you know what? I'll figure it out in the next stream. Guys. But this is more or less done with the Gunpla for today. All right, we're done. We're done with the build. Okay, we're done with Phenex Gundam. Oh my god. Okay, cool. All right. I'm sorry guys if I don't have enough time to celebrate with y'all, but this has to be the finished product. It will be the finished product as it is because I need to run off now real quick. Thank you so much for joining me, each and every single one of y'all. You guys have been absolutely amazing, amazeballs. Alright, we're gonna send you off on the raid real quick. Okay, before we start the next time round, okay, for our Gunpla stream, I'm gonna show you guys the finished product of this. Okay? I hope you guys can join me the next time round. It will probably be on the Saturday evening where I build the next plastic model kit. If anything else, I'll let you guys know, and I'm available also on Discord, okay? Oscar Unicorn. I don't know about that though. Oscar Unicorn. Okay, anyway, I think we don't have time to host people because seeing the numbers on Kick, I don't think I have time to chase down the numbers for it. So we're just gonna find someone to raid on Twitch, alright? Again, Man, I wish the discoverability on Kick was a lot better, but we're gonna send you off to someone that I've been wanting to rate for quite some time, and she is streaming. I'm quite surprised that she's streaming at the moment. I will send you guys off to... Wow. Okay, I don't know. This one might be a bit too spicy, yeah. Mickey Bunny is doing an IRL yacht stream for Republic Sales Out. Oh, a bit spicy, should we rate her? I don't know if TOS... She's doing a yacht stream. I think I saw her in a bikini. Okay, anyway. Maybe not today. Maybe not today. Maybe not today. Okay. The stream's a little bit blurry. But I want to send you guys over to... Okay, this one also a little bit TOS. But, okay. Okay, we're gonna send you off to the cake. Where's my mouse? Holy shit. It seems okay. Yeah, we're gonna send you off to this streamer by the name of Cake404. I don't know why she calls herself the Cake404. Maybe it's because, you know, she is, you know, she loves cake. Not very TOS actually. I think it's still fine. It's still fine. But she's doing a subathon. Yeah. I think maybe she's having a subathon for her for affiliate anniversary or something like that, but we're gonna send you guys over to her. It looks pretty interesting, and she does a lot of co-working streams on the weekday, so do go over, drop her a follow if you like. All right, she has makanan. Okay, shout out. Yeah, thanks for popping in a red message. Okay, I have to head on out. I'm sorry, guys. Would all of you be so kind as to just tell her that I have to head on off, like, once we rate her, okay? Thank you guys so much for staying on. I'll catch you guys again. Again, my Discord will tell you my schedule for the next stream. If not, God bless every single one of you. Have a wonderful Saturday. This is TohVahKiin signing out. Thanks for joining me for the very wonderful Gunpla stream, and I'll catch you guys again next week for more Zelda and for more Gunpla. Alright, take care guys. See you.